I'm sure a few of you have already heard of this anecdote, but never from me, so here it goes. Once upon a time in a faraway land lived a little boy. Actually, I know when, where, and who this little boy was. It was in the year 1968 in California, and the little boy, any guesses? Steve Jobs. Now, I've always wanted to tell a fairy tale to IITians. Perhaps not today. Steve, like many 12-year-olds, thought of an ambitious idea. He thought of building a frequency counter. An ambitious thought for a 12-year-old even today, and this was 57 years ago. But unlike most 12-year-olds, Steve decided to do something about it. The operative term here being to do. He looked up the phone book, called Bill Hewlett, and the conversation went something like this. Bill. Yes? Steve. Hi, I'm Steve Jobs. I'm a 12-year-old, year 7 student, and I wanted to build a frequency counter, and I was hoping you'd have some spare parts to it. Bill breaks into a laughter, notwithstanding the fact that his actions were rather childlike, but they were still actions. That day, Steve didn't just get the spare parts to the frequency counter, but he also got a job that summer at the Hewlett-Packard assembly line, putting together, you guessed it, frequency counters. Sounds easy enough, right? But Steve described that he was in heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, he felt like he was in heaven. Now, for our own academic purposes, if we trace back to this heavenly bliss, we would come across some action phrases, some verbs. He looked up the phone directory, he called Bill Hewlett, and he asked for a favor. Sounds easy. Any of us can do that, right? And yes, it is really that easy. Actions turn dreams into reality. Actions are actually like the first piece of a domino. It's the one that determines the trajectory of the rest of the pieces. So it's the most important one. I have experienced both inaction and action. And the good part is that if we use my situation, my story as a research, I have a constant and I have 2 variables, which makes it easy to understand. The constant in my example would be the Miss Universe India pageant. Now you'll be confused. How did I have Miss Universe India happen for me and not happen for me at the same time, in the same year? Well, you'll hear my story now. So, when I did inaction is what I'll talk about first. Now, for that, I'll have to explain to you how pageantry works. There are a few steps that you have to go through. First, there is a state pageant. The state pageant is the one that happens every state. So, for example, in Assam, or Gujarat, Rajasthan, Goa, all these places, Maharashtra. And then all the girls from these states would then compete in the national pageant. In the national pageant, one girl will win, get the title, and represent India at the international pageant, which is Miss Universe. Now, you would have thought I would have gone for Miss Gujarat 2024, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't because I had very, very good reasons to not go. I thought to myself, I'm too young. I was 19 at the time. I was like, well, my teachers told me that it's better if you hold on. You will be a little bit more prepared, a little bit better equipped with knowledge and experience if you hold on for 2 more years. Just give it 2 or 3 years and you'll be good to go. And they had a good enough point there, to be fair. So I didn't go. And plus, I was traveling at the time, so it didn't add up for me. There was a Miss Gujarat who was crowned, and she, of course, I met her eventually at the pageant. And now let's talk about the time that changed my life. So I had come back from an audition. Now I'm skipping to the action story. I had come back from an audition in Mumbai, and I was extremely tired. I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep. So I was lounging in my parents' room, scrolling through Instagram. Guilty. Doom scrolling like a lot of us. But through that doom scroll, I came across a post by Miss Universe India for a wildcard entry. I was not expecting to see that, I promise you. I looked at Dad and asked him. He's the one I go to for any of my life advices. So I looked to him and I'm like, Dad, should I apply? Not expecting him to say yes. I mean, I didn't, it was so last minute. It was going to be tomorrow, like the next day, just in a few hours. He looked me dead in the eye and told me, just do it. A series of unplanned, impromptu events took place. The next morning, I was flying to Delhi. For the first flight was to Delhi. Then, in the afternoon, I was registering as a delegate. By the evening, I was competing. Fast forward to next month, I was in Jaipur, in the Z Studios, the grand finale of Miss Universe India, and I was crowned that time. Thank you. Now they say fortune favors the prepared, but they also say fortune favors the bold. In the last minute preparations, in the last minute packing for the auditions, I completely forgot to pack the one thing you cannot forget to pack for a Miss Universe India audition: a white top. What did I do? Panic. No, fortunately not. I was surprisingly calm. I was collected and I started thinking of solutions. And I figured it out. An instant delivery app. I opened up my phone, quickly scrolled through and found the first thing that made sense to me, the only thing that made sense to me, was a women's inner layering tank top. I still ordered it because I didn't really have any other option at that time. It arrived minutes before my audition was about to begin. I put it on. It was ever so slightly too tight, and it had a bow on it, clearly indicating that it's meant for inner layering. I rummaged through my bag for a solution, and I found an eyebrow razor, which is essentially a blade. I cut off the ribbon, and boom. I had blue denim shorts and a white top, just like the rest of the girls. I blended in, and that was truly a blessing. Now let me show you the image for that. That was me. That's the rest of the girls, and that's me in my inner layering tank top that worked out so well for me. Now, usually I'm super organized, and I pride myself at being that way. But this experience taught me that being bold enough to take action is the prerequisite to an achievement. I mean, see it for yourself. I didn't go for the state pageant, and I had a good enough reason. It didn't make sense to go, right? I mean, I wasn't prepared, clearly. But the moment I decided to take action, even if I wasn't prepared, it worked out for me. All you need to do is do it. What if I had given up? What if I had given up in my parents' room, thinking it's too last minute? What if I had given up at the time I could not find my white top? What if I had given up every time it felt too uncertain, too uneasy, too alien? Well, then I wouldn't have been standing here in front of you. Action is a lot more than the immediate result that it accomplishes. In that sense, action is metaphysical. I'll repeat that for you. Action is a lot more than the immediate result that it accomplishes. In that sense, action is metaphysical. A daunting challenge is nothing more than a series of easy, doable tasks that any of us can do. An action done in good faith should never be demeaned. For an action not done, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. So every time you want to build your frequency counter, make that call to Bill Hewlett, and you would have invoked a Steve Jobs in you. Thank you, everyone.